When you're so excited about the world you're building, it's easy to get carried away. You explain the history, the rules of the power system, the lore. But if the first few pages of your manga start out with pure lore dumping, you've probably lost most of your readers. And the thing is, we've seen a lot of beginners make this exact mistake. Remember, if you can't hook your readers within the first few pages, it doesn't matter how good your story or art is. They'll never even see it. For the past 3 years, we've worked with over 400 beginners who fixed that exact mistake with the help from pro mangakas who have over 50 years of combined experience. And today, we'll show you the right way to start your manga and keep readers turning the page. Stick around because we'll also reveal how you could get feedback from a pro manga editor and publishers in Japan. Bizarre beginnings. Let's start with the basics, because every story has some kind of structure. If you've been following our videos, you've probably heard us mention the Japanese storytelling structure Ki, Sho, Ten, Ketsu. Ki stands for introduction, Sho stands for development, Ten stands for twist, and Ketsu stands for conclusion. This is the backbone of every Japanese manga. Can you guess which part is the most important? Let us know in the comments. If you guessed the Ki, you're correct. Getting your intro right is crucial because if it doesn't grab your readers' attention, they'll never stick around to see the rest of your story. Our mentor, pro mangaka Naoyazawa, says,
"You have to capture the reader's attention, present a mystery, or create anticipation about what will happen ahead."
Another one of our mentors, pro manga editor Vivi, adds,
For manga, you really have to catch the reader's attention in the first pages for them to buy it, or else they won't read it or they won't use the money on it. So that's why the Ki is so important, because if the Ki is not interesting, they won't read the rest of your story.
If you need help figuring out how to start, then book a free one-on-one manga consultation call with us. We'll help you break the cycle of self-doubt and actually start creating with a training arc tailored just for you. Plus, you'll get the chance to work with a pro manga editor and professional mangakas. But that's not all. Our best students get to go on an all-expense-paid trip to Japan's biggest comic convention, where you'll get the opportunity to pitch your manga directly to Japanese publishers. We'll even translate your manga to Japanese and hire a translator on the ground. Even if all you've got right now is pen and paper, that's okay. We'll help you figure out everything else. So, if you're done waiting, book your free manga consultation call with us today. The link is in the description. Now that you know you need a killer intro, how exactly do you make your Ki interesting? Well, you need a bizarre element. Vivi explains it like this.
The Ki in Japanese is from kinyo. So basically, it means kind of like bizarre moment, such a strange moment that makes you question, oh, what's happening here? You need to find something bizarre, strange, unusual, interesting.
Take this first page from Dragon Ball. What do you think is the bizarre element? Can you point it out? You've got mountains, forests, monkeys, pretty standard stuff. But then you see a boy with a tail. That's the bizarre element. It makes you wonder.
Why does he have a tail?
Is it a monkey tail?
Is that why he's talking to monkeys?
And before you know it, you're turning the page. That's the power of a bizarre element. It doesn't have to be huge or dramatic. It just needs to make readers curious enough to keep reading. After that, you gotta introduce your world and protagonist. That's when you establish the status quo within the first panel or page. The creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Hirohiko Araki, says,
At the most basic level, the first panel should illustrate the 5 W's and 1 H. In other words, who is doing what, and when, and where, and why, and how.
Let's apply that to the Promised Neverland. Who? Emma, supposedly an orphan. What? Wakes up the other kids. When? At 6 a.m. Where? Gracefield House. Why? It's part of their routine. How? She calls out to them cheerfully. So, kids in an orphanage. Pretty straightforward, right? But what's strange about the situation? If you guessed the numbers on the children's necks, then you're right. It's this little detail that makes it feel a little off and almost eerie. You start to think,
Why are there numbers on their necks? What does it mean?
and that curiosity is exactly what you want readers to feel when you start your manga. Now that you've got the basics down, let's look into the different ways you can start your story. There's no single correct way because every story is different. But there are 3 possible approaches pros tend to use. First is linear storytelling. This is the classic. You've seen it a million times. Once upon a time or long, long ago, linear storytelling flows chronologically. You start from the beginning and move forward in time. Take Naruto. His tale starts with his birth. The very first page opens with once upon a time and hints at how this event would change his life. If you're a fan of Naruto, then you probably already know that the rest of the manga follows a mostly straightforward timeline as he grows up. That's why linear storytelling is great for stories about growth, like shonen, sports, or coming-of-age manga. But if the classic storytelling structure isn't exciting enough for you, then you could try in medias res, Latin for in the middle of things. Basically, you drop your readers straight into the action with practically no setup. It's perfect for one-shots or fast-paced openings because it immediately shows your protagonist in action. And as the readers watch them, they not only get to know them as a character, but they gradually connect the dots of the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Your protagonist could be fighting a monster, chasing a criminal, or running for their life. You can explain the context later. The goal of this type of intro is to instantly grab the reader's attention. That's why the key of Beastars works so well. It begins with a tense chase scene where you don't know who's after them or why, but you just have to find out. This structure grips your attention and makes it so you can't look away. That's why it's perfect for stories full of action, suspense, or mystery. Finally, we've got the most unconventional route, non-linear storytelling. Here, time doesn't flow straight. It loops or skips around, like flashbacks or future glimpses. Non-linear intros are like starting a story in the middle or end, and then jumping back to the beginning to show how it all happened. You show hints of the future, or foreshadow future events right from the start. In Yona of the Dawn, Kusanagi Mizuho does this on the first page. We see a princess in ratty clothes holding a sword. This makes you wonder,
Why would a princess be holding a sword?
And why is she dressed like that? And on a mountain, no less.
Then you flip to the next page and see a proper princess and all the finery you would expect, living in a palace. That contrast hooks you in right away, because now you need to know how she went from one life to the other. Serialized manga tend to use this type of key more than one-shots because they often have a long-term plan in mind. That's why linear storytelling and in media res are more often used in one-shot manga. No matter which approach you choose, make sure it fits your story. Before you go, we've got one more tip for you. It's something we call the 4-page rule, something Vivi's observed in her decade of experience. This manga rule says you need something interesting happening within the first 4 pages, or else your reader might lose interest. This rule applies to one-shot manga with 16 to 24 pages. Because you have such a limited number of pages, you can't spend too much time and space on setting things up. Within 4 pages, you need to show something interesting, mysterious, or exciting. Araki sensei says that
readers want to quickly grasp what kind of manga it is that they're reading, where the manga is headed, in other words. And if too many panels go by without them being clued in, they'll decide they've read enough.
So, how do you keep them from dropping your manga in 4 pages or less? You need a key moment where things get really interesting. It's what Araki sensei calls a decisive panel, where you know you have the reader. Usually, it's a large dramatic focus panel, a misegoma that demands attention, just like this one from The Promised Neverland. Before this point, everything was very bright and cheerful in the orphanage. But with a few flips, you hit that decisive panel and the mood changes. Vivi explains.
Visually, it tells you, pay attention. Something is about to happen. This is when it starts.
So, when you're planning your one-shot, make sure you have a decisive panel within 4 pages. A visual moment that tells readers, this is where it all begins. And if you're still unsure where to begin, Araki sensei recommends studying the first pages of popular manga. But he also warns.
Studying best-selling publications is crucial to finding what elements sell. But you mustn't simply copy those works. The idea is to gain a foundation of knowledge upon which you could search for your own creations.
In other words, learn what works, then make it your own. Finding your own storytelling style might take a few tries, but that's all part of the process. Don't be afraid to experiment. And if you ever feel stuck, remember, you don't have to figure it out alone. If you want to be part of a group that inspires you, pushes you, and grows with you, then check out learntodrawmanga.com to see how our students thrive as part of a true mangaka community. You'll see how they were able to level up under the guidance of a pro manga editor and pro mangaka mentors. This is your chance to work with pros who have decades of industry experience. And who knows, you might even get the chance to pitch to publishers in Japan. But if you've ever thought,
It's too late for me to start making manga,
then think again, because this next video will prove otherwise.